Good day everyone, I am Michael, the moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar, which is Why Are We Still Confused About ESAs and Service Dogs? I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Ain Sudovsky. Ain Sudovsky has been in the apartment industry 5 decades and is a former VP of Marketing and Education for Lincoln Property Company. Her credentialing includes NAAEI, Advanced Facilitator, CAM, and CAPS. She is a contributing writer for many publications, had earned a Texas real estate license and certified speaking credentials from National Speaker Association. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Ain.
Thank you, Michael, and welcome everyone. We're excited that you've joined us today. This is one of the most interesting topics that I talk about. It's the most interesting part of the Fair Housing Act to me. And I'm going to share with you how big a piece of the pie ESAs and service dogs are when it comes to fair housing. And so people with disabilities we'll be talking about briefly. Animals commonly kept in households will be considered as ESAs. So if your prospective resident or your existing resident is requesting to keep a unique type of animal, as it is in front of you, this is that's not commonly kept in the household as described above, then the requester has a substantial burden of demonstrating a disability-related therapeutic need for the specific animal or the specific type of animal. As best practice, use the following questions to help them understand if the animal is a service dog under the ADA, and if so, it will meet the requirements for granting a reasonable accommodation for an assistance animal under the Fair Housing Act. So I thought you would enjoy seeing this map. These are the percentage of complaints filed by protected classes. Interesting to see when we look at all the protected classes here: disabilities, gender, sex, family status, color, race, religion, national origin, and other, whatever the others would be. But look at the dark blue. 55% of the complaints filed with HUD are disability related. So newest thing from HUD, service, emotional support, and domestic animals. Direct from HUD, a service animal is a dog that is individually trained to do work or perform a task for the person with a disability. These are the two questions. You have the right to ask those two questions. You might want to screenshot this and prepare yourself a script. So if the answer to these two questions is yes, and the animal is a dog, or the rare cases a miniature horse, make no further inquiries, and the service dog animal should be approved. So when we're seeking documentation for non-visible or unclear need, don't request any details about the person's health. Don't be foolish and say, well, you don't look like anything's wrong with you, or you need to tell us what's wrong. You need to tell us what your disability is. So all you may ask is, does the person have a disability as described by HUD? Person with a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. So let's look at those words. Major life activities: walking, talking, seeing, hearing, breathing, working, climbing up the stairs. They have a disability that makes them not able to do things that a person without a disability might be able to do. So you want to be very, very clear on what that definition is. So information confirming disability from a healthcare professional can be a physician, a doctor. It can be an optometrist if their disability is visual, a psychiatrist, psychologist if they have emotional, mental disabilities. It can be a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner, or even a nurse. So check your state for clarity on what your state determines is a health services provider. So what is a service animal? It is a dog with the rare exception of being a miniature horse. So what is an ESA? Who can we ask for information? One more time, health services providers. So what can we ask? What services does the animal provide? Don't use the word phony. Don't use the word fake. Be very polite. Thank you for bringing this in, and we will further investigate. A service dog is specifically trained to perform tasks that mitigate a person's disability. You very often see them with a vest like that. Sometimes they have that handle if the person is visually impaired, if they're blind. It is different from an ESA. Go to the far right. Provides emotional comfort to a handler, a person, and this says very clearly with a mental or emotional illness. The therapy dog is more for love and hugging and petting. Cats are very popular as emotional support animals. In 2020, it was hot news, and it still is. The airlines finally stepped up and started prohibiting ESAs, and airlines are no longer required to carry support animals in their cabins. Just to run back through, and a reminder, no, they're not a pet. Do not refer to an ESA or a service dog as a pet. Why are we talking about this? All of us are interested in increasing our occupancy. It is a third-party service utilized by housing providers and property managers to screen household pets, validate reasonable accommodation requests for service ESA companion animals, confirm that every resident understands their pet policies. With all of that, Michael, if that's everybody, I will say have a great day, all of you, and we'll see you next time.
Once again, thank you, Ain. So that does conclude the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead.